group's devastating legacies. Reporter Scott Heidler explains from Swat Valley.
By the hundreds of thousands, the internal refugees are returning home to the Swat Valley. Weeks of living in squalid refugee camps and months of intense fighting between Taliban fighters and Pakistani security forces for most people are now behind them. But there's a group of boys whose invisible injuries from the recent conflict won't heal anytime soon. The child soldiers of the Taliban. The Pakistani army estimates that over 100 boys were either kidnapped or coerced into Taliban training camps here in the Swat Valley. After evaluation, they were put into three categories. Informants, future soldiers, or those who showed most potential were put into suicide bomber training courses. We had the opportunity to sit down with two boys who were temporarily being looked after by the army in Swat's largest city, Mingora. These boys were 13 or 14, but some of the others who were held in a nearby Taliban training camp in Charbagh were as young as 9 years old. For security, their faces are covered and no names were given.
They grabbed me from the fields when I was working. They told me that I had to go for jihad against the security forces. They told us to carry out jihad against the Pakistan army because they are not Muslims. This is because they are friends with the United States Army, who kills a lot of Muslims. And you will go to heaven for killing them, even if you have to kill yourself. The Taliban told us, don't listen to anyone, not your father, not your brother, not your sister. If they get in your way of fighting jihad, it's okay to kill them.
These two boys were some of the lucky ones. They escaped.
Myself and two other boys at the camp talked about escaping. I was very scared, as the Taliban said if we tried to escape, they would slaughter us. But when I had the chance, I ran away.
The UN Children's Agency is now getting involved.
The government has had a first contact with UNICEF so that the Children's Agency can support these children who we understand have been brainwashed into becoming either child soldiers or suicide bombers.
The challenge is not only to get the boys into programs to deal with their psychological damage, but it has to be customized for their culture and counter what, in some cases, has been years of mental conditioning even before they were trained to fight. In Mingora, Swat Valley, Scott Heidler, Fox News.
What happens in Vegas is being blamed on President Obama.